Are you a constitutional sheriff, and why or why not?
Well, I will be a constitutional sheriff when you elect me. But yes, I do believe in the Constitution. I know I hear people try and get me to say that there's certain things that aren't constitutional, are state laws that aren't constitutional. Now, I don't believe in enforcing anything that's not constitutional, but in every law that's on the books in Arizona that we do enforce does fall under that umbrella, and anything that doesn't, we'll work hard to make sure it goes away. I do believe in the Constitution. It's what we should all live by, and I stand by it.
If you're familiar with the two candidates that are running for sheriff, Doug Schuster and Mike Gannuscio, you should know that Mike Gannuscio is actually running on a platform where he claims he is a constitutional sheriff. What I've found in my personal experience with Mike Gannuscio is that there is absolutely no way that Mike Gannuscio would ever stand up for the Constitution, because he is connected to Jeanne Kentch.
On elected officials is really important. I'm president of Arizona Cattle Growers Association, and I'm also running for Mohave County Sheriff.
Need to get out of here.
Yes,
this is my
do.
fucking neighborhood.
Okay, and we're being calm and going to jump off.
Yeah, you're fucking mouthing off to me.
And
you're fucking mouthing off to me.
I know.
It's somebody like me that needs to beat the fuck out of you.
Mike Gannuscio did have an opportunity to stand up for the Constitution when Jeanne Kentch was illegally taking people to court and basically violated their First Amendment rights.
I'm not gonna say, who did what wrong.
So when you hear people like Mike Gannuscio claiming that he is for the Constitution and he had an opportunity to stand up against tyrants who put 3 American citizens through litigation for approximately 7 months, then what you're really looking at is a fraud. And it's all talk.
And I have a hard time letting things go that are dishonest. And I have a hard time letting things go that are dishonest. The reason I'm running for sheriff is I'm running for change. I was a deputy in Mohave County until about 2012 when I was hurt in a training accident, and I had to have surgery on my elbow, and my arm wouldn't straighten out. Couldn't go back on patrol. I got put in the evidence room, and I took a cut of pay to be a cop, and I didn't want to be in the evidence room, so I
Breaking news. Integrity has become questionable for a candidate challenging Mohave County Sheriff. A number of incidents since Mike Gannuscio began his questionable campaign to unseat the Sheriff of Mohave County have come to light. He cannot do basic math. According to records released by Mohave County, he was only on staff just over 6 years, including training, not 8 years. It makes one wonder what his real motives are to run for an office founded on public trust, with his continuous breach of it. Be smart, vet your candidates.
So last week, in Meadview, myself, Becky, and Dawn were getting signatures. Now, Dawn's integrity is 100% with me. There's no question. But when Becky was getting signatures, she had a local ask if he could sign for his wife, and she was happy to let him sign for other people. Now, that's against the law. And it would have happened had I not said, absolutely not. Now, there's no room for saying it's not true. I've known this person for 24 years, and he's happy to say exactly what happened.
So Mike Gannuscio talks a lot about integrity and loyalty, and he basically tells people that they are his friends and so forth. He carries on with all these words, likes to talk about what he will be doing as sheriff, but mostly he talks about his being a, quote, constitutional sheriff. However, when he was asked to stand up for the Constitution, when his friend Jeanne Kentch was taking people to court to censor them, he basically kept his mouth shut.
Mike just indicated that we're refusing to put body cameras. That is not the case. I've been in support of body cameras for many, many years. When do we...
And on the other hand, you have a law enforcement official who is actually getting paid to do his job. Doug Schuster actually arrested the county assessor's boyfriend, showing no favoritism, showing no evidence of cronyism, and basically did his job.
I don't need to get out of here.
Yes,
This is
you
my
do.
fucking neighborhood.
Okay, and we're being calm and going to jump off.
Yeah, you're fucking mouthing off to me.
And
You're fucking mouthing off to me.
Made sure that there was no deputy going to any of these functions that could violate somebody's civil rights.
It's somebody like me that needs to beat the fuck out of you.
So we have a law enforcement official versus a person who wants to be a law enforcement official. One is keeping his mouth shut when it comes to the Constitution, and people who actually violate the Constitution.
Made sure that there was no deputy going to any of these functions that could violate somebody's civil rights.
And you have a person who stands up against people who are violating the Constitution. So what we have is a person who is actually doing his job versus somebody who likes to cover up for people who violate the Constitution. Mike Gannuscio likes to talk about integrity, but he doesn't have any. He's a coward.
You know, either you call somebody, you know, a misrepresenter, or you call somebody dishonest, one way or the other, for either side. There's no way to know that.
So Mike Gannuscio can tell people all he wants that he will be a constitutional sheriff, but what Mike Gannuscio really is a person who talks the talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. Mike Gannuscio knew exactly what Jeanne Kentch was doing to District 2 Precinct Committeemen, and he basically kept his mouth shut. And he kept his mouth shut because he has a personal relationship with the county assessor, Jeanne Kentch. Whereas Doug Schuster arrested Jeanne Kentch's boyfriend and did his job. He did his job as a law enforcement official. Gannuscio has several problems that people should be aware of. One of the statements that he had made about 4 years ago was that he was going to solve the Jerry and Susan McFalls case. His partner, a private investigator by the name of Michael Boone, aka James Michael Boone, claims that he made a trip to Beaver Dam Littlefield with Michael Boone. And basically in this article, James Michael Boone said that the family has retained his investigative services, but then later on another private investigator said that Boone was actually doing this on a voluntary basis. So we really don't know what the truth is, because the statements that Mike Gannuscio has made have been made because he is a politician. And when you have a politician that can only smile in your face and can only tell you stories and say words that are meaningless, what you have is a true politician, which is what Mike Gannuscio truly is. And how that fact can be proven is by his actions. Because when you have people that say things and you are hearing these words coming out of this person's mouth and other politicians like Mike Gannuscio, that's all fine and dandy, but the way that you can tell a person's character is by what they do. So Mike can actually say certain things to the public, but he really hasn't done anything. So when he says that he's a constitutional sheriff, but then he stands by people who have taken American citizens to court to try to silence them and censor their voices, and stands by and says nothing at all, keeps his mouth shut, you're basically able to expose somebody like Mike Gannuscio as a fraud.
My slogan from the first go-around was performance, not politics, and I'd ask you to look at my performance.
But if we start our campaigns off and our office off with a lie, where does it stop? So what do we bring to the table if we start off that way?
Hi guys, Ryan Bernardo here, MCRCC Electioneering Committee Chairman, and I'm here with Mike Gannuscio. And Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. First of all, you're running for office here in Mohave County, aren't you?
I am. I'm running for Mohave County Sheriff. I'm also president of Arizona Cattle Growers. I've been in Mohave County for about 23 years now. And I'd just like to see some changes here from fairness in communities, equal representation, constitutional issues that we're paying for but we're not getting.
Made sure that there was no deputy going to any of these functions that could violate somebody's civil rights.
So unfortunately, that's who Mike Gannuscio is. Mike Gannuscio actually showed up to one of the debates between Jeanne Kentch and Becky Foster, stood up in front of a crowd of people, and accused Becky Foster of fraud. Mike Gannuscio tried to blackmail one of his good friends by threatening to expose Jeanne Kentch's opponent, Becky Foster, and has actually been showing up to every single debate that involves Jeanne Kentch. And at one debate, Mike Gannuscio actually got up in front of a crowd of people and accused Jeanne Kentch's opponent of fraud.
Integrity on elected officials is really important. I'm president of Arizona Cattle Growers Association, and I'm also running for Mohave County Sheriff. And I have a hard time letting things go that are dishonest. So last week, and there's a question. So last week, in Meadview, myself, Becky, and Dawn were getting signatures. Now, Dawn's integrity is 100% with me. There's no question. But when Becky was getting signatures, she had a local ask if he could sign for his wife, and she was happy to let him sign for other people. Now, that's against the law. That's against the law. That's against the law. And it would have happened had I not said, absolutely not. Now, there's no room for saying it's not true. I've known this person for 24 years, and he's happy to say exactly what happened. But if we start our campaigns off and our office off with a lie, where does it stop? So what do we bring to the table if we start off that way?
So my question is this. If Mike Gannuscio is so interested in being a law enforcement official, why did he not take that information that he had in regards to Becky Foster and file a formal complaint? And that's the question. So instead of him not filing a formal complaint, what he did was he actually gave a letter that he claims proved Becky Foster was somehow fraudulent, and he handed it over to Jeanne Kentch's boyfriend.
I know. It's somebody like me that needs to beat the fuck out of you.
And then he handed it over to a court official by the name of Jim Consolado. Who also posted it online. So instead of Mike Gannuscio doing his own dirty deeds, he had two other people But before that ever occurred, Mike Gannuscio tried blackmailing one of his good friends prior to Bill Garderner and Jim Consolado posting that letter. So, you know, what you have here is a person who talks about integrity, who is not only a snitch, but also resigned from the sheriff's department, and now he wants back in. So, you know, I don't know about you, but, you know, when you're hanging out with people such as Michael Boone, I don't know if anybody has done any research on Michael Boone.
My name is Michael Boone. I'm an investigative reporter.
People that Mike Gannuscio is affiliated with are not good people. They are actually very shady people. When you're hanging out with people like Jeanne Kentch, county assessor's boyfriend, or Michael Boone, who has been featured on American Crime Journal and likes to have other people do his dirty work for him, it basically shows the character of Mike Gannuscio. What this person has been doing is opposite of what he has been saying. So as far as being a constitutional sheriff is concerned, there's absolutely no way that Mike Gannuscio has ever proven that he is for the Constitution. In fact, he kept his mouth shut when the Constitution and people's civil rights were being violated. He knew about Jeanne Kentch. He knew about what she was doing to certain precinct committeemen in Arizona, and yet he kept his mouth shut. And another thing that's questionable is this person changed his name. So when you have people that are using aliases or they change their name for whatever reasons, people should be asking, how come? Why did he change his name? So I hope people are going to vote responsibly, because as far as this person is concerned, he is not only a snitch, but he did not uphold the law as far as his claims against Jeanne Kentch's opponent, and he is having other people to do his dirty work for him, and he keeps his mouth shut when the Constitution is being attacked. And the last thing that people should know about him is that he keeps his mouth shut when his own friends are being dragged into court.